Breaking just in the past hour or so, the White House announced that in order to stop the potential rail strike that would have crippled the U.S. economy, President Biden is calling on Congress to move forward and actually force a deal and impose a settlement against the union's wishes and side effectively with the railway operators. George Wills here, Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist, NewsNation senior contributor. From the president's statement, as a proud pro-labor president, I'm reluctant to override the ratification procedures and the views of those who voted against the agreement. But in this case, where the economic impacts of shutdown would hurt millions of other working people and families, I believe Congress must use its power to adopt this deal. Is that, in other words, the political cost of a strike is worse than the political cost of abandoning the unions?
Absolutely. And we've been here before, Leland. The modern presidency has been sort of defined by difficult choices presidents have had to make about potentially crippling strikes. In turn of the century, Teddy Roosevelt expanded the power of the presidency to intervene, as no president had done before, in a labor dispute about anthracite coal mining when the country was heated by and the railroads were driven by and the steel companies were consumed by coal. In 1951 or 2, I believe it was, during the Korean War, there was a strike in the steel industry. And Harry Truman said, my inherent power as commander-in-chief allows me to nationalize the steel mills. And the Supreme Court, to Truman's indignation, said, no, I can't do that. Your power doesn't go there. A third time, and this had foreign policy implications, when the professional air traffic controllers, PATCO, struck, Reagan fired them. He just destroyed the union. And the Soviet Union, watching this, said, oh my goodness, this man means what he says. So this is not the first time presidents have been in a position where they had to choose the national interest over a more restricted sense of their powers or over their loyalty to a particular constituency.
Yeah, you're right to point out the PATCO strike. I wrote a high school paper on it in terms of what it did. It's interesting because on this side, the White House is making very clearly a political choice. I'm wondering if you view that the same as the way the White House is taking a totally hands-off approach to the Chinese protests. We talked about it at the top of the show. You've got thousands of Chinese in the streets for the first time since Tiananmen Square, finally demanding democracy, being willing to stand up to Xi Jinping. And we'd play the sound bites, but they don't exist because the White House is silent on it.
Well, the White House has to make a delicate calculation here because it's as soon as the White House expresses support, sympathy, empathy, whatever, the Chinese are going to say, you see, this is all orchestrated by the intelligence services of the great Satan, the United States, as Iran has done in the past when we've expressed even tentative support for Iranians going into the street. What's going on in China is fascinating because we tend to think these regimes in Tehran or in Beijing are disagreeable but entrenched. Turns out they can be very brittle indeed, as Ronald Reagan demonstrated with the Soviet Union. He did not buy the idea that there was a solid regime.
Yeah, I hear the argument. It was the same argument that the Obama administration made in 2009 for not helping the Iranian protesters in the Green Revolution. And of all people, President Obama said that was a huge mistake. I just can't understand that when there are people in the streets, at least not say, we're going to hold the Chinese responsible if they pull another Tiananmen Square. Just to say nothing when they're so vocal about every other protest seems as though it's almost that they don't mind Xi Jinping being in power.
But after Tiananmen Square, it took about 6 months for the George Herbert Walker Bush administration to send Brent Scowcroft, National Security Advisor, quietly to China to say, enough of this, we have to get along, we're too interconnected, the stakes are too high. So not even Tiananmen Square resonated for very long.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.